Hey guys, welcome to EuroLeague Fantasy Talks. In this episode, we will talk about BasketNews EuroLeague Fantasy and preparation for round 10 of EuroLeague. It is a very short time frame between round 9 and round 10 because it's a double week of EuroLeague. And this is how much my team got me in round 9. I got almost 185 fantasy points and 951k to our budget. Milutinov did great. Devon Hall also did great. Unfortunately, he got injured, but still got almost 150k to our budget. And Metu also did very well to our budget. He got 12 fantasy points. So overall, a great run. And let's now check how much each of these players need to score in round 10 for their price not to drop. As you can see here, these are the numbers, and each player needs to score that amount of fantasy points for their price not to drop. So if they will score below that, their price will drop. Obviously, if they will score more than that, they should grow their price. And I colored green, which means it's good because it's a big safe zone for Milutinov and Metu. Even if they score -7, their price would still grow, at least by a little bit. I marked Devon Hall in orange because, of course, he's injured. So even if he has very good stats, but he will not play because he will have a surgery if he hasn't had one already. Still close to 0. Like Antonov probably can score 5.6, so he still has a good chance to grow his price. Same for Thompson. Edwards needs to score 13 fantasy points. Devon Booker needs 12.2. I think Wheeler Bab has a bit too high of a number, so we will trade him. Let's go and make those changes. So we have to sell Devon Hall. I decided to sell Wheeler Bab. And I also want to cash out on Mikael Jantunen. We bought him in round 2 when he was going for 500k. Now he costs 1.4 million. So we can sell him and cash out. Now I need to get 2 guards and 1 forward. Let's start with forward position. And for my forward, I will get Filip Petrushev from Crvena Zvezda. I have him in my EuroLeague official fantasy, but it's time to get him here as well. He has amazing price growing stats, and of course we already know that he is one of the 2 main big men at the moment. Let's see, of course, how his role will change when Bolomboy will be back, but it's not exactly clear when he will. So let's enjoy Petrushev for the moment. He will play against Asvel, who have short roster due to injuries, and he managed to get almost 42 fantasy points in just around 22 minutes in the game against Alba. He shouldn't be too tired because he didn't play too many minutes. He has all the circumstances to perform again very well against Asvel. And as my next player, I will pick Evan Fournier from Olympiacos. And even if Fournier was initially priced at a higher price tag, but then his price got adjusted and now he's started to pick up his game and he's in really good shape now. And even if his fantasy points show that he is around 11 fantasy points, but in his last 3 games, he got to almost 21 fantasy points, same and 19. Great shape for Evan Fournier, coach's trust, and playing against Maccabi. I'm pretty sure it's enough reasons to pick him. And as my last player, I will pick Kevin Punter. Punter is 7th overall in PIR average, which means he's very efficient. And one of the main reasons why I pick him is because Punter will play on Friday, and I didn't have so many players except Mirotic and Metu. So now I'll have at least few players to make changes on Friday. He needs to score 30.7 fantasy points for his price not to drop. So I don't really think that he'll score that number, but I still expect him to score high, because he will play against Paris and they will play in Barcelona at the home arena, which always helps in shooting. And obviously Paris is not so good in defense. Also, I forgot to mention that Evan Fournier, even with -15 fantasy points, he would still not drop his price. So actually that's the safe zone that he has. Therefore, it's a very good pick for price growing, at least for round 10. And when it comes to Petrushev, he has even crazier numbers. He can score -30. Actually, -31 is the zone where his price would not drop. So it's very safe to pick him, assuming he didn't have injuries between while I'm making the video and the round starts. And let's now go check 10 players best in their position, centers, forwards, and guards, by fantasy points average. And we will check how much fantasy points they need to score to not drop their price. Here we have 10 best centers by fantasy points. Of course, I do tend to remove injured players like Bolomboy. I did keep Sako because he was on the bench in the game against Olympiacos, so I imagine he's doubtful. So of course, be careful when picking him because there is a risk that he might not play. But I just put him because he was showing great numbers in earlier rounds that he played, but he needs to score 43.2 fantasy points if he plays for his price not to drop. So yeah, both. It's actually the price is not great, the price is bad to pick him, and also the injury concern. So of course I would skip him, but I wanted to put him here to show you guys. So of course, as long as he doesn't play, his stats will not change. Miltonov is a very good pick now with minus 7.4. Lesor needs to score 24, otherwise his price would drop. Devin Booker 12.2. And Khalifa Diop 3.7, so also a good pick. I think Poirier is also good for 13.2. And for forwards, of course, we have Zenkov with 19.2 fantasy points for his price not to drop. Nigel Hayes Davis with a very good performance in the last round. He needs to score minus 17.3. If he scores that low, his price would still not drop. But of course, very safe pick. Lidé is also good. Even if he scores 0 fantasy points, his price would still grow. Moneka is now safe with 3.7, or usually scores more. Juancho, very good pick. Shengelia as well. And yeah, a few others. If you pick Tyreek, you're risking actually to drop your budget, so be careful if picking him, but sometimes he does have crazy games. And for 10 best guards, it's Campazzo. Actually, forwards are much better than guards when we look at the price growing, because we need to score a lot for their price not to drop. None goes at the lowest, but he had a very big minutes game on Tuesday, so I'm not sure if he will play that many minutes now, but otherwise he needs 14.5. And Darius Thompson 6.2. I think those two are the best. Carson Edwards with 12.9 is also considerable. Otherwise, if you go Campazzo, shorts, I go with punter, but I'm risking to actually drop some budget. But I really want to have the second day option and some fantasy points. Tamir Blatt is now back, but he needs to score a lot for his price not to drop. And let's now go from the top fantasy points average guys to the guys that are the safest to pick for your budget. So these are the 10 safest centers to pick. Roman Sorkin for 588k. Even if he scores minus 8 fantasy points, his price would still not drop. 8.3 fantasy points is the limit. Also Miltonov, as we already know. Papagiannis is quite good. Kevarius Hayes. Tariq Black doesn't get so many minutes and doesn't have crazy good performance, so it's a bit risky actually. But yeah, just to have it in mind as an option. And these are the top safest forwards. Gabriel Procida obviously still going strong, so even with minus 37 his price would not drop. Petrushev we already know. Hayes Davis we talked about, but Couch is a great option. Trevian Williams with minus 8.4. Polnara apparently is safe, so you can definitely consider that. And Pokuševski seems to be getting more minutes, but you never know with Željko, so of course be careful if picking him. And for guard section, Evan Fournier, best with minus 15, is the safe zone. Isaiah Kanan, if he would score minus 10, his price would still not drop, actually minus 11 as well. Iggy Brazdeikis needs to score more than minus 9 for his price not to drop. Hifi minus 3.8, Dimitrievich minus 2, and Rokas Jokubaitis 1.1. If he scores more than that, his price will grow. That's all guys, I hope this information helps to build your lineups. For more content on EuroLeague Fantasy, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one.